Welcome back to the Wind Up with Will. This is Will here. It's been a little over a week since I did my last video. So I'm going to touch base on the Rugby World Cup today and talk a little bit about the end of the regular season of Major League Baseball. It is a little late at night. That's why I'm not going to cover the NFL and college football. I'll do that in my next video. And also, well, today I'll get to the MLB Playoffs since it's the end of the regular season. But I'm going to kick it off with first talking about the Rugby World Cup that's been going on. So a little over a week ago, Ireland beat South Africa. That was a huge win for Ireland and really solidified them as the best team in the tournament. Came into this tournament ranked number one in the world. They showed they're number one in the world by beating South Africa. They are very, very good. So there were some other games though that have happened. There's been some games this past weekend played in the Rugby World Cup. Ireland had this weekend off. It was their bye week because there's 5 teams in each group, so not every team can play every week. So South Africa played Tonga, which is an island nation, and they jumped over them into first place after beating Tonga. So they're 1 point ahead in the standings. I actually got the standings right here. So right here in the middle, you can see in Pool B, you have South Africa on top after 4 games played. Sorry for my handwriting. I need to get a bigger board so it's easier to see and easier to write on. But as you can see here in Pool B, South Africa has 15 points after 4 games because of the bonus point system. They've got 3 bonus points. Their only loss is to Ireland. Ireland has only played 3 games, so they have 14 points. Scotland is in third. They've only played 3 games and have 10 points. They have lost to South Africa, but they have beaten Tonga and Romania and gotten bonus points in both those games to make it close with Ireland. This Saturday, Scotland and Ireland play one another. The winner of this game is probably going to be the team to advance. Well, if Ireland wins, they're obviously going to advance because they'll jump over South Africa and win the group, and South Africa will be the runner-up. But if Scotland wins, they need to they need to score. Let's see. They would need to win if they just won, and Ireland and Ireland didn't get any bonus points. They would jump over Ireland in a tiebreaker by beating Ireland. Now, the downside is if they win and Ireland loses by less than 7 points due to the bonus point system, Ireland would gain 1 point and remain 1 point ahead of them in the standings. So Ireland would still advance. So if Ireland can just play Scotland close and lose, they'll still advance. And they would actually still win the group because then they'd be tied on points with South Africa, who they beat. So they would win the group. But if Ireland just shows up and plays like they have been, they should beat Scotland. But it'll be a good matchup. Scotland's a good team. Scotland, I think, is ranked 5th in the world. So they're a good side. That'll be a good match to watch this Saturday. Some other matches is over here. Wait, holding it the wrong way. Down over here in Pool A, France is on top after 3 games played with 13 points. New Zealand has played 3 games, has 10 points. So is Italy, 3 games and 10 points. Italy lost to New Zealand this past week. So New Zealand, they were ahead of New Zealand in the standings because New Zealand lost to France earlier in the group. But after beating Italy, New Zealand has now jumped them. But there's be some interesting matchups. And the last week in Group A, France plays Italy, and New Zealand plays Uruguay, who is in 4th there. Now, if Uruguay could win and get a bonus point, and France were to beat Italy, Uruguay could advance. I believe that's right. I think Uruguay beat Italy earlier. No, that can't be right. No, Uruguay can't advance. I don't know what I'm thinking. Uruguay can't advance. But if Uruguay could beat France, Italy could have a chance to win. I'm sorry. Uruguay is playing. I'm getting them backwards. Uruguay is playing New Zealand. Italy is playing France. So if Uruguay could beat New Zealand, Italy could win this group if they beat France. That's a tall order for Italy. Um, but it would be there's definitely the possibility that that could happen. Now, probability wise, it's not very high, but some close. So it's gonna be some matches to watch because those games could determine the standings. Um, and it could also determine the standings on France and New Zealand because both those teams will probably win those games. France and New Zealand will both probably beat Italy and Uruguay. But depending on, I mean, if Italy can play it close and maybe get a draw with France, no, I'm thinking the bonus point system just makes this whole pool system wonky. But those matches could end up determining the standings there in Pool A. Over in Pool C, Australia's already played all four of its games. It has 11 points, setting as the runner-up. The issue is though is Wales is in top, only playing 3 games. Have only played 3 games. They have 14 points. Wales is likely going to win this group. They play Georgia. They play Georgia, the country of Georgia, not the college football team. They played the country of Georgia for the last game in their pool play. They should beat Georgia. Georgia's not very good. Fiji, however, plays Portugal. And if they were to just draw with Portugal, they would jump Australia in the standings. If they were to lose to Portugal and gain a bonus point by losing by less than 7 points, they would tie Australia in the standings and then really hop over them because they beat Australia. So really the only way Australia can advance is hope that Portugal plays the spoiler and beats Fiji. But interesting to see how that will turn out. The Wallabies have got to hope that Portugal can pull a miracle for them. And then all the way down, sorry, then to switch hands here. That's on the wrong side of the board. All the way down in Pool D, sorry, I don't like how this camera reflects it. It's not even like a mirror, so it throws the whole how it's flipped around on my end. So down here in Pool D, you have England. Sorry, England have played 3 games. They've got 14 points. Argentina's played 3 games, got 9 points. Japan's played 3 games and has 9 points. Samoa has played 3 games, only has 6 points, and poor Chile is in last place. England have won this group. There is nothing Argentina or Japan can do to tie them and tie England in points. If they were to win and get a bonus point and England were to somehow lose, they wouldn't be able to beat them because England has beaten everyone else. England plays Samoa, which they should win pretty easily. Argentina and Japan, though, play each other this Saturday. The outcome of that game will determine who advances, who's the runner-up in that group. And so how the next round, how that's going to go in the elimination rounds is the winner of Pool B will play the runner-up of Pool A. The winner of Pool A will play the runner-up of Pool B. The winner of Pool C will play the runner-up of Pool D. The winner of Pool D will play the runner-up of Pool C. I forget how it will go after that, but that will be the first round after the pool play. So, kind of seeing the board here. So England will be awaiting to see whether they're going to be playing Australia or Fiji. France and New Zealand, South Africa and Ireland, we're going to see how that comes out on who's going to win those groups. I kind of think France is going to be the winner of their group because I don't see them losing to Italy, and I think New Zealand's going to be the runner-up Uruguay. So it's going to be interesting to see who they play out of Pool B after the outcome of Ireland and Scotland on Saturday. But those will be some interesting matchups to watch going forward. Rugby World Cup, very fun. If you haven't watched any of it yet, I highly recommend it. There's some great videos on YouTube to watch that explain the rules. Once you understand the rules, it's a pretty fun game to watch. Very high, very fast pace, very fluid. There are stops, but it's not quite like American football where there's stops every few minutes. But it's fun to watch. Now I'm going to go into talking about MLB real quick. The MLB regular season ended. I'm going to say capped off, but I guess you could call it capped off. Either way, the regular season ended yesterday, and on the Saturday there was a few teams that actually clinched the playoffs, so there was really no playoff tension going to the last game of the year, but there were playoff standings on the lines, whether who's going to win the AL West between the Astros and the Rangers. The Rangers lost to the Mariners, and the Astros beat the Diamondbacks to win the division over. And that was the only way the Astros could win the division, is if they won their last game of the year and the Rangers lost. The Astros won 4 in a row to end the season, beat the Rangers for the AL West crown. Just kind of getting tired of seeing the Astros win, but it's just how the cookie crumbles. Exciting though for the Astros fans that their team has won the division for what feels like the 18th year in a row. But the other standings in MLB, I will go through who won what divisions and the wild card teams. We'll start with the National League. National League, the Braves. If you didn't know this, the Braves are kind of good at baseball this year. They had 104 wins and 58 losses. Best record in baseball. They're the 1 seed in the National League. They won the NL East pretty easily with 14 games to spare over the Phillies. The Brewers won the NL Central 92-70. And the Dodgers won the NL West 100 wins and 62 losses. Good, even 100 wins there. So the 1 seed is the Braves, the 2 seed is the Dodgers, the 3 seed is the Brewers. And the wild card teams, you have the Phillies, Marlins, and the Diamondbacks. Phillies are the 4 seed, Marlins are the 5 seed, and the Diamondbacks are the 6 seed. So out of those, how those standings or how those playoff teams will play in the playoffs, the current format in MLB is that you've got the 3 seed host the 6 seed and a best of 3, and the 4 seed hosts the 5th seed and best of 3. And out of those, I think I'm going to go with the Phillies over the Marlins. I think a lot of people are picking this. I'm not going to sleep on the Marlins. I think this will go 3 games. I think the Marlins will find a way to win 1 game in there. The Marlins are not a horrible team. They are a good baseball team. Their lineup isn't the best, and their starting pitching doesn't just blow you away, but it's really solid starting pitchers. So to me, it's hard to say that the Phillies are just a slam dunk, but I think they're the better team here. They've got the better lineup. Their pitching isn't better, but it's quality enough, and they've got some big names that have had good years in the past. So I'm going to go with the Phillies to beat the Marlins in that best of 3. They're also going to host all 3 games, so that kind of gives them a little bit of an advantage. And then between the Brewers and the Diamondbacks, I'm picking the Brewers. The Brewers just have a much better pitching staff. They're going to host all 3 games. The Diamondbacks have kind of been a team that kind of backed their way into the playoffs, it feels like. Like it just felt like none of those teams in the NL wildcard race really wanted to win it, and they just kind of ended up there. They were a hotter team earlier in the year. They kind of struggled in the second half. The Brewers just have really good pitching, and if your pitching can be hot at the right time, it can carry you a long ways. So I'm picking the Brewers to win that series over the Diamondbacks. And that gives us a division setup of the Braves and Phillies. I'm actually going to see the Braves playoff game on Saturday. I'm not a Braves fan. My family is. So I got kind of invited to go to that game. but I think I will be seeing them play the Phillies on Saturday. And then the other divisional NLDS will be the Dodgers versus the Brewers, which is a rematch of the 2019? Not 2019, was it 2018 NLCS? Was it 2018? Yeah, 2018 NLCS. I knew I was trying to think of what year they played each other in the NLCS. It was 2018. Um, that will be a good rematch there. Star-studded big city team versus a small market, analytically driven pitching team. In that division series, I'll go with the Dodgers. I think they're the better team. They got home field advantage. They have the better lineup. If they're going to find a way to score runs, they're going to win. And then the Braves and Phillies. I'm picking the Braves. Um, they have the best lineup in baseball, and it feels like they find a way to score runs every game. So unless the Phillies pitchers get really hot, I'm going with the Braves. There, that sets up the Braves and Dodgers in the NLCS, and I'm picking the Braves to win that best of 7. I do think though the Dodgers can push it to 7 games. Dodgers are a very capable team. In the American League, you've got the Orioles, who won the AL East, the best record in the American League with 101 wins and 61 losses. They're the class of the AL. They're the surprise team of this year. They've had great pitching. They've had a great young lineup spring up, led by Adley Rutschman. They look like the Cinderella team of the year. Um, they're really exciting to watch, and they're going to be a team to watch for several years to come now. But they're the best team in the American League this year, and they got the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed in the American League is the Houston Astros, who won their division on the last day of the year with 90 wins and 72 losses. So 11 games behind the Orioles, who got the 1 seed. The 3 seed is the Minnesota Twins, who had a minuscule 87 wins and 75 losses. The Marlins, who finished 3rd in their division in the NL East, almost had as many wins as this division winner. The AL Central is just not a good division. But the Twins won their division. They're in the playoffs. That's more than my Mets can say. And then the wild card teams, you have the Tampa Bay Rays, who had 99 wins and 63 losses, almost a 100-win wild card team yet again in baseball. They finished only 2 games back of the Orioles, so they were really close to win the division. And for a good portion of the year, they seemed to be in first place. They were competitive all year in that division. The AL East is just stacked. And then in the second wild card, you've got the Texas Rangers with 90 wins and 72 losses. They tied with the Astros. The Astros held the tiebreaker, so they won the division. Kind of very unfortunate that MLB does not have the tie-breaking games anymore, the Game 163, because those are some of the most exciting games in baseball history. The Bucky Dent game, the shot heard around the world between the Giants and Dodgers back in the 50s. Then a few years ago, like in 2018, when the Brewers and Dodgers ended up facing each other in the NLCS, the Dodgers had to beat the Rockies in a playoff game, see who won their division, and the Brewers had to beat the Cubs to win their division. And then the Rockies and Cubs both then went on to face each other in the wild card game. So like tie-breaking games are just awesome. It's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get to see one there between the Astros and Rangers on who was going to win that division, but maybe one day we'll see the playoff games, the 1-game playoff games, come back to be tiebreakers. And then the third wild card team in the American League, you have the Toronto Blue Jays, 89 wins and 73 losses, just 1 game behind the Rangers. So you've got the Orioles, the 1 seed, the Astros, the 2, the Twins, the 3, the Rays, the 4, the Rangers, the 5, and the Blue Jays as the 6th seed. So this is how I think the American League playoffs are going to go. You've got, let's see, The Twins are the 3 seed, so they're going to be playing the Blue Jays. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays in that series. I think they are just a better team all around. They won just 2 more games than the Twins, but they've got a better lineup. The Twins just kind of won their division by default. Someone's got to win that division. It's a weak division. The Blue Jays play in the toughest division in baseball. Blue Jays are going to win that series. I'm going to say the Blue Jays even sweep. They're going to win 2-0 in that series. Then the other series between the Rays and the Rangers. That is going to be a must-watch 3-game series. 2 really good teams. The Rangers kind of faltered down the stretch to just kind of choke the division away. So I'm going to go with the Rays there. They've been one of the best teams in baseball all year. Kind of unfortunate they played in the same division with the Orioles, or otherwise they would have been a division winner. So I'm going to go with the Rays to beat the Rangers. I think that could go all 3 games. It'll be dependent on how well Texas pitches. So we've got the Rays advancing and the Blue Jays advancing. Now in the MLB playoffs, unfortunately, there's no reseeding. So it's already predetermined that the winners of the 4 and 5 seeds will automatically play the 1 seed, whereas the winners of the 3 and 6 will automatically play the 2 seed. So, unfortunately, we'll have the 2 best teams in the American League, in my predictions, playing each other in the second round, with the Orioles and the Rays playing each other in the division series best of 5. And I'm going to go with the Orioles in that series. They've been the better team all year. It's hard to pick, it's hard to go against the grain, but that's who I'm going to pick. Then in the other series, we'll have the Blue Jays and the Astros in best of 5. I'm picking the Astros to win that. The Astros are just veteran play. They're just a veteran playoff team. They know how to get to October. They know how to win in October. They've got a great manager. They've got good pitching. They're a good team. They're a veteran team. They know how it goes. So I'm picking them to win in best of 5, even though I think the Blue Jays will push them. Then I've got the Astros and Orioles in the ALCS. As much as I want the Orioles to win it, I think the Astros are going to find a way through. You know what? I'm going to change that. I'm going to change this. I'm going to say the Rays beat the Orioles. It's close. It's so close. I'm going to say the Rays beat the Orioles. I think they're a little more a veteran of a team in the playoffs. They have a little more experience there. They've got better pitching. I'm going to say the Rays beat the Orioles in best of 5. They'll push it to all 5 games and win in Game 5 to go to the ALCS, and they'll play the Astros in the ALCS best of 7. That's a tough matchup. I'm gonna go with Rays. I did not put a lot of thought into this before this video, but I'm gonna go with Rays. I think they've got a good team. They've got good pitching. They've got a good manager, and the Astros can't go to the World Series every year. They can't go every year. I'm sorry, Astros fans. You're a good team, but you can't go every year. So I'm gonna go with the Rays to the World Series, and they're gonna be facing the Atlanta Braves in best of 7. I think this will go 7 games. The Rays will win their first World Series. That's my prediction there. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I would like to go into my other MLB predictions, like who's gonna win MVP or Cy Young. What that voting is gonna look like. But I'm gonna give that till the next video. This video's kind of gone on long enough. It's late at night. I need to go to bed. And, but I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.